Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. It's Tuesday, August, 8th, 2 p.m. Eastern. Held off from the live stream yesterday, waiting for something to change, and we now have something changing. Bitcoin bulls shaping up, and there are things for us to check in on. First things first, the bigger picture, we've got the NASDAQ hitting the lowest level in 3 weeks. Good sign that Bitcoin's having a solid green day while the broader market is weak, and bulls are hoping that a weekly higher low forms on the NASDAQ. Still EMA 12, no red flags, big picture, but clearly we're seeing some weekly consolidation. And elsewhere, the dollar is hitting a daily resistance level, watching for a weekly lower high, bigger picture. But again, it's a good sign that Bitcoin's having a solid green day on a green dollar day, because generally we've been pretty inverse. And so we can say the Bitcoin bulls are positioned well for a dollar weekly lower high. And we now need to see the daily uptrend lost on the dollar for that weekly lower high to be shaping up. So that's something to be keeping an eye on as well. The correlation, the inverse correlation, has broken a bit, but crypto bulls always want to see that weak dollar to have more confidence. So Bitcoin, we were watching this falling wedge for a week plus, however long it's been, and it's now confirmed with a bull break. And again, all it was just looking back at the previous example where it was extremely similar. We had a very similar falling wedge. It took a lot longer to play out, but it was a falling wedge that led to the longer term higher low. So what now needs to happen? For me, we do still have resistance of 30,000. And essentially we need to see things that prove to us that this move is not the same as this move. Because we had a solid bounce there. We had a $1,500 bounce that then just gave it all back over the next week plus. So what would make this different? Well, let's go back and look. What made the last move for real? There's your bull break. There's your back test of EMA 12 for a 12-hour bull flag. And there's your continuation. So in an ideal world, the next thing that we see out of Bitcoin into tomorrow and beyond is that when we top out, ideally breaking 30,000, we don't have to break 30,000, but if you break 30,000 first, you again just increase the confidence of bulls, decrease the confidence of bears. But whenever we top out here and lose the hourly uptrend, because the hourly uptrend is generally a guide for the 12-hour, backtest and hold EMA support, and then confirm the trend change. We have not confirmed a 12-hour uptrend in Bitcoin since, this was a little tiny example there. I guess we'll use that example. It's been 3 weeks since that has happened. So we have to see that happen. Bulls have not topped out yet. We are still strong up at the highs. We're seeing a little bit of tiring action as we approach this $30,000 resistance level. We can see the clear 5-minute uptrend, 5-minute EMA 12 support the whole way up. And I would need to see we're going to look for an hourly higher low next consolidation as well. Essentially, we would have to lose hourly EMA 12 if we're going to shape up 12-hour consolidation. So we'll see how the bears defend 30,000, but obviously a big win for the Bitcoin bulls today. And after today's price action, you're now getting a lot more talk again about the ETF, because when price action sees something significant, people generally want to attribute a fundamental reason to it. And so that's what's going on here, when in reality, it's just bear exhaustion into the bull break. And now we'll see if this bull break gets follow through. Dominance chart, weekly higher low was set, and we are following through. Little daily bull flag confirmed. This is showing us Bitcoin is leading the way up. There's definitely a couple of alts that are stronger than Bitcoin, but generally speaking, this is a Bitcoin-led move. And what did we see last time Bitcoin set a longer term higher low? Bitcoin dominance bottomed June 6th. When did Bitcoin bottom last time around? June 15th. So about 9 days in advance. And this time around, the dominance chart bottomed the 30th. Oh my goodness, is it 9 days in advance? It's 9 days in advance. So, just little clues. Still need follow through, but a great start. Checking in on the crypto stocks. They have earnings today. MARA has earnings. So again, bigger picture. We're watching for a weekly higher low. We're bouncing right off EMA 12. We did see a little bit of a bull break into a bear break, so it's not your picture perfect clear time frame. But if we see a bullish reaction to earnings, we're going to be bouncing with a weekly higher low off EMA 12. If it's a bearish reaction, we're going to be back down testing the recent lows. And Riot will react to MARA earnings. It's got the weekly also trying to form the higher low. So everything's trying to form weekly higher lows. Coin trying to form a weekly higher low above EMA 12. Still work to do. Just a little start of a daily bounce at this point. We'll see if we can follow through. So everything looking for weekly higher lows. And it's not a coincidence that the dollar is looking for a weekly lower high. Definitely want to see. So let's just go through that. A quick little recap. What do we want to see for this bull move to be real in Bitcoin? We want to see a 12-hour confirmed uptrend. We want to see the dollar lose the daily uptrend and set the weekly lower high. We want to see crypto stocks, ideally MARA earnings aren't going to impact Bitcoin, but it would be nice to have that bullish sentiment in those names if it's a bullish reaction to earnings. So those are the next 3 short-term things that bulls want to see shape up. Thanks, Paige, for the likes reminder. The likes and the shares make me feel great. ETH, still in a daily downtrend. So let's mark all the daily lower highs that we've set on ETH on the way down. We topped out. We had a lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So anything under 1878 is just another lower high. And bigger picture, ETH is looking for a weekly higher low. It's a much uglier setup compared to what Bitcoin is currently doing. But we need to confirm daily uptrends, or we'll start with the 12-hour. We need a 12-hour uptrend. First things first. ETH has not confirmed a 12-hour uptrend since we topped out 3 weeks ago. But look at ETH BTC. This triple top of resistance rejected the price, and then we just broke daily support. So right now, ETH is the weakest it's been compared to Bitcoin in 3 weeks. And so bigger picture, it's a potential weekly bear flag. So Bitcoin is still the place to be when you're comparing it to ETH, as long as we're in a weekly downtrend. And we've been setting weekly lower highs for many months at this point. So the altcoins that I'm keeping an eye on are similar setups to BTC. They're scouting weekly higher lows. Some of them have 12-hour falling wedges. And for that reason, I'm watching Sol, 12-hour bull break. Still need to confirm the 12-hour uptrend, but look at the weekly, right back off EMA, 12 support. And if this sets the weekly higher low and we get the bull cross of these EMAs, we're going to be looking back up into the upper 20s on Sol. So again, ideally, bulls that still want entries. Last time Bitcoin set the longer term higher low, we just ran. And if you didn't get in on that 12-hour bull flag, you missed it. So ideally, we get the 12-hour consolidation. So a bull looking to get into Sol can look for a 12-hour higher low, anything above 22.27, and then the stop goes under the low. Because obviously at this point, if we break the lows of current consolidation, that's going to tell us red flag, weekly higher lows are not set. And so any entries from here are under the assumption that the weekly higher lows are set. So we need that 12-hour uptrend. Link, 12-hour falling wedge, breaking bull, needs to confirm the uptrend still. Weekly is trying to back test and hold EMA support, and EMA 12 and 26 trying to see the first bull cross since the bear cross 9 months ago. Link and Sol are very similar with their weekly setups as far as the last couple months. And so it would be ideal if they both confirm, and definitely want to see Link BTC and Sol BTC set those weekly higher lows as well. So those 2 names are at the top of my list. SHIB has had some volatility recently. Just want to highlight that it was a nice back burner. Daily consolidation, hourly oversold conditions. So hourly back burner, testing daily EMA 12. That's a confluence of signals aligning. It's ideal when that's how it shapes up. And we've seen a big bounce from that hourly oversold, almost 10% at this point. Anything under 10.5 is a daily lower high. It's possible we form a tightening daily range. But a nice pop in response. And certainly anybody that played hourly oversold is risk-free at this point. Something to keep an eye on as we're making our way through here is just the NASDAQ is looking for an hourly lower high. And it's a potential 5-minute rising wedge. And so that could potentially shape up Bitcoin hourly consolidation if they were to correlate. So Sol, Link, not really interested in SHIB personally, just watching it. But the other weekly higher lows, XLM. So XLM, we know a weekly higher low is the most likely scenario. So far, we had multiple inside bars break bear with no follow through. It's a good sign for the bulls to break an equilibrium bearish and not get a whole lot of follow through before that daily bounce gets going. And so XLM is trying to confirm a 12-hour uptrend if we break 14.5. And that's the first baby step towards the weekly higher low. A lot more work will be needed. But again, that's the first little sign. And XRP, same deal. Weekly, trying for a higher low off EMA 12. Just the first start of the bounce, 12-hour, must confirm a 12-hour uptrend if we're going to uptick the probability that a weekly higher low is potentially shaping up. So for me, 12-hour uptrends must confirm, and Bitcoin must confirm. Keeping an eye on Algo. Shout out to Troy in the chat room highlighting Algo. And the reason I like Algo is just keeping an eye on a relatively weaker name. Troy pointed this out, and I was like, you know, what stands out on Algo? It's one of the weaker names that I see. And so there is now a nice weekly equilibrium where if this breaks bull, it'll be the first weekly bull break on Algo. Technically the first weekly uptrend that we've seen in 10 months. Anything under 1265 is just a lower high for a continued tightening range. But this would be the kind of name where, okay, if the Bitcoin bulls show up and continue to follow through and head back up towards, 31,000, this would be a low cap, more volatile name to be keeping an eye on for the potential that it gets a bull break. And Algo BTC would be key to be watching as well, because it must break 417. And again, just looking at this chart and saying these things have not happened in a long time. The last weekly uptrend was 6 months ago on Algo BTC. So if Bitcoin gives us confidence in the crypto space and Algo USD gives us a weekly equilibrium bull break for the first time in 10 months, and Algo BTC gives us a weekly bull break for the first time in 6 months, that would be worthwhile to pay attention to as far as an extremely beat up coin potentially seeing, even a weak shift can be a 30% bounce. So lower volume name, lower liquidity name, but worth keeping an eye on in case bulls start to gain some confidence again in the crypto space. We've got our first taste of confidence right now. We need that checklist of follow through. And for me, in the order of importance, 12-hour uptrend on Bitcoin, dollar lose the daily uptrend. Those are the next two most important things for me. All right, reading the chat room now. There goes Bitcoin, fresh high, 30,000 being tested. Just grinding that 5-minute uptrend. After 30,000, 30.4 has a bit of a resistance zone from the way down. And every move up that we see increases the probabilities that we can form a 12-hour higher low on consolidation. XMR. So let's see if XMR has a similar 12-hour falling wedge. I would say so. I would say we haven't broken bull yet, though. Anything under 161, just a lower high for a continued tightening range. But it is similar. We're looking for a weekly high or low. Well, the weekly's not as clear. Bull flag attempt failed. Still consolidating. We're trying to hold weekly EMA 12. That much is similar. And it is a potential 12-hour falling wedge. That's similar as well. Do I enter any trades with the pre-mindset of swing scalp? Yes. And oftentimes, day trades can turn into swing trades. So I can play an hour, if there's a daily uptrend and I'm playing an hourly oversold bounce, I can sell partial position into the hourly bounce, knowing an hourly lower high is most likely, and then just stick my stop under the low and say, if bulls show up here, maybe hourly oversold marks our daily high or low. And now I have a swing trade where I'm risk-free with my stop under that low, and it's potentially a daily high or low for continuation. So I will often do that where if we're in a strong trending market, which we haven't had in crypto in a while, but if we're in a strong trending market, I will attempt to convert day trades into swing trades by getting a comfortable cost basis to try and let it, play out a bit. And that's essentially what backburner trades are in a bull market. Backburner trades, first hourly oversold, first 4 hour oversold. You sell partial into the bounce and you stick your stop under the low, because in raging bull markets, those backburners mark the higher lows for the longer term uptrends. Pepe. So Pepe is trying to bounce as well. At this point, the bulls are just trying to shape up a weekly equilibrium. So all-time low, all-time high, higher low, lower high, and trying for a higher low compared to 8125. We don't have confidence that it's being set yet, but it's trying. And again, give me a 12-hour uptrend. Wherever this move tops out, higher low and higher high on the 12-hour. And the last time we confirmed a 12-hour uptrend, that marked the weekly higher low. I shouldn't say the last time, but we set the weekly higher low with a confirmed 12-hour uptrend. So that's what the bulls need to see here. Whenever we top out, confirm the 12-hour uptrend to try and set the weekly higher low for a continued equilibrium and tightening range, which wouldn't be surprising because we look for equilibriums to be the most likely scenario as a result of extreme volatility in both directions. Definitely more favoring the bulls than yesterday. I mean, the probability of the 12-hour falling wedge has confirmed. So that is a confidence builder. And again, Bitcoin is right off of EMA 12 right now on the weekly. Let's see what our uptrend support looks like. We'll put that right there. Just have to be cautious. It's not a rising wedge. We do not want to see a break of 31.8 with zero follow through. But first things first, 12-hour uptrend needs to confirm. Here comes 30,000. Do I ever use leverage? No, I use margin trading stocks. I've never used leverage in crypto. And granted, it's easy for me to say don't use leverage when I had the 2017 crypto market, which you didn't need leverage there. I mean, if things are running thousands of %, you don't need leverage. So again, my thoughts on leverage are you should not be using leverage unless you are on year 3 trading at a bare minimum and have proven discipline to yourself. Because if you gave me leverage in my first couple years of trading, it's entirely possible I blew up my account and would never be a trader. So do not take yourself out of this game prematurely. You got it, Lucas. "30-minute back burner, I don't use it often. And honestly, I just don't use the 30-minute time frame often. So I can't speak to the reliability of a 30-minute back burner and how it relates to different time frames. I guess you can go back and look at prior bull markets and what 30-minute oversold marked. But it would make sense to me that 30-minute oversold would mark 12-hour higher lows. But again, I don't, it's just something that I don't have experience with because I don't use that time frame much. Absolutely, Commando. Honestly, I'd rather fail 31.8 initially, consolidate a little bit more, and then bull break to 33 plus if it's going to be very convincing. Going straight up to 31.8 would be great, but if we don't have the juice to get through it, it's definitely a bit of a red flag. Back burner, we got multiple ways to look at the back burner. We got the Trader Pro alert system, which has the back burner on it, and we also have the standalone trading view. Where are my indicators? TCG back burner. And now, see, it's better on crypto. It's better with Trader Pro. For stocks, I prefer obviously using the trading view version of the back burner. But it's just after a breakout, after a strong bull move, scouting that first oversold condition. BNB? Haven't looked at BNB in a while. So I look at BNB BTC and I see multiple red days here. So I know it's not exploding. We're weak compared to Bitcoin the last couple days. Nice bull move today, but Bitcoin's stronger. Okay, it's playing catch up. So that just happened 10 minutes ago. Bulls, if we can break 249, well, we're still sideways. I mean, really, bigger picture, nothing is changing if we're within this range. I mean, if we don't break 262, it's just a lower high to remain sideways. So keep an eye on 262. How do I know when the market has enough volatility and is worth trading? Percent moves and liquidity. It's definitely a factor. Bollinger Bands, I don't use those anymore, but I used Bollinger Bands for my first 7 years of trading. And so Bollinger Bands are a good way. When they're pinching, it tells you to chill out and wait because volatility is coming when we break those Bollinger Bands. But you just get really familiar with pattern recognition where, again, we knew XLM was going to very likely give us an equilibrium with all that volatility. So after you play the bounce and a lower high and then a higher low, okay, now I need to chill out and wait because volatility is constricting, volume is dropping off. And so getting familiar with equilibriums, not only does it help you trade a pattern, but it helps you know when to pump the gas and pump the brakes. Because if we see an equilibrium forming, we know it's a tightening, constricting range. And when we see an equilibrium breaking, we know it's an increase in volume and volatility. All right, Bitcoin making its move. Even if we fail 30,000 here, we'll look for a 15-minute higher low. Crypto stocks keep heading higher with the Bitcoin strength. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate you tuning in. 97 likes, almost made it to 100. And make sure and check out our YouTube channel and all the playlists. One of the most common things, I keep getting questions about stuff, and it's clear that people are not going through those playlists. So I highly suggest doing so. Might be on a Sheldon the Sniper live stream next week. I'll keep you posted. And other than that, make sure and do good things.